drive a man to vanish from his home, only to be found days later under the most bizarre circumstances. In May 2006, Rey Rivera, a 32-year-old writer and videographer, disappeared from his Baltimore residence after a mysterious phone call. Days later, his body was discovered in a way that defies explanation, inside a locked conference room at the historic Belvedere Hotel, beneath a jagged hole in the roof. Was this a tragic suicide, or something far more sinister? Stick with me as we unravel one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries of our time. Let's set the scene. Baltimore, Maryland, 2006. Rey Rivera was a man with dreams as big as the Hollywood scripts he once wrote. Born in 1973 to Angel and Maria Rivera, Rey had moved to Baltimore with his wife, Allison, from California to work for his longtime friend, Porter Stansberry, at Stansberry and Associates Investment Research. He was charming, talented, over 6 feet tall, and known for his warm personality. Life seemed good until May 16th. That day, something changed. A guest staying at the Rivera home overheard a phone call come through the Agra publishing switchboard to Rey. The content of that call, unknown. But whatever was said, it prompted Rey to leave his house in a hurry, wearing nothing but flip-flops, leaving behind his wallet and keys. He never returned. For days, Allison and Rey's family searched frantically. They scoured the city, desperate for any sign of him. Finally, a breakthrough. Rey's in-laws spotted his car parked in a lot on St. Paul Street, near his workplace in the Mount Vernon neighborhood. It was a chilling clue, but it only deepened the mystery. Where was Rey? His co-workers, determined to help, climbed to the top of a nearby parking structure to get a better view of the area. That's when they noticed something horrific: a hole in the roof of the Belvedere Hotel's south wing, right next door. When police investigated, they found Rey's body inside a conference room directly beneath that hole. He had been there for days, partially decomposed. The sight was heartbreaking, but the questions it raised were even more unsettling. Let's talk about the Belvedere Hotel for a moment. Built in 1902, this Beaux Arts masterpiece is a Baltimore landmark, looming 188 feet tall with its iconic mansard roof. It's a place of history and glamour, but on that day, it became the backdrop to a nightmare. The hole in the roof was jagged, as if something or someone had crashed through with tremendous force. Rey's body lay 177 feet below the main roof, a vertical drop that would have taken just over 3 seconds. But here's the catch: the horizontal distance between the edge of the main roof and the hole was 43 feet. Physics tells us that to clear that gap, Rey would have needed to run at a speed of 10 miles per hour, a near sprint. Picture this: a man in flip-flops, or possibly barefoot, sprinting across a sloped roof with only a 15-foot run-up. Does Does that sound plausible to you? And then there's the state of Rey's belongings. His eyeglasses and phone were found near the hole, relatively intact. Think about that, a 177-foot fall, and somehow these fragile items barely had a scratch. If Rey had jumped or fallen, wouldn't they have been shattered? Investigators were puzzled, and so were Rey's loved ones. The medical examiner couldn't commit to a definitive cause, marking his manner of death as undetermined. Was this a tragic accident, a desperate act, or something far darker? The deeper you dig, the less anything adds up. Now, let's turn to the investigation, or lack thereof. The Baltimore Police Department quickly leaned toward suicide as the most likely explanation. But why? There were no witnesses, no clear evidence of Rey's state of mind, and certainly no note, at least, not at first. When Allison searched their home, desperate for answers, she found something chilling behind Rey's computer. A bizarre, cryptic note. It wasn't your typical farewell. Instead, it was a jumble of references to Hollywood figures, movie titles, Freemasonry quotes, and random ramblings. What did it mean? The FBI analyzed it and concluded it wasn't suicidal in nature. Yet, despite this, the police stuck to their theory and eventually stepped back from the case. To many, it felt like they were closing the book too soon. Let's dive into that note for a second. Imagine finding a piece of paper that mentions seemingly unrelated things, celebrities, secret societies, and cryptic phrases. Was Rey trying to send a message? Some speculate it was a code, perhaps related to his work, or something he'd uncovered. Others wonder if it was a sign of mental distress. But if Rey was spiraling, why didn't anyone close to him notice? Allison described him as happy and driven, not a man on the edge. Could this note point to something or someone he was afraid of? It's a question that gnaws at you the more you think about it. Here's another twist. That mysterious phone call on the day he disappeared. Who was on the other end? The call came through the Agra publishing switchboard, directly tied to Rey's workplace. Was it a colleague, a friend, or someone with a darker motive? Porter Stansberry, Rey's boss and friend, later offered a $1,000 reward for information, but was reportedly uncooperative with police. Why the silence? Some theories suggest Rey might have stumbled upon something dangerous related to Stansberry's company, which had faced scrutiny for questionable financial practices in the past. Could Rey have become a liability? It's a chilling thought. Now let's consider the physical evidence, or lack thereof. Rey's injuries were severe, consistent with a high fall, but some experts argue they don't align with a jump from the main roof. The trajectory seems off, the speed required implausible. Another theory, highlighted in the 2020 episode of Unsolved Mysteries, suggests Rey could have jumped or fallen from a ledge several floors below. But here's the problem. The Those ledges were accessible only through privately owned condos and offices. How would Rey, an outsider, even get there? And why would he? Every path leads to a dead end. Speaking of unsolved mysteries, the show brought Rey's case back into the spotlight, and with it, a flood of new theories from armchair detectives. One popular idea circulating on forums like Reddit is that Rey didn't jump at all. What if he was struck by a vehicle at high speed elsewhere, and his body was somehow propelled or placed through the roof? It sounds far-fetched, but the intact phone and glasses fuel this speculation. Another theory posits foul play. Could Rey have been lured to the Belvedere, attacked, and his body staged to look like a suicide? The double-locked conference room and limited access only add to the suspicion. Let's not ignore modern discussions. Recent posts on platforms like Reddit, as of 2024, show this case still grips true crime enthusiasts. Some users point to the Belvedere's history, once a hub for elite gatherings, as a possible backdrop for shady dealings. Others focus on Stansberry, whose company faced an SEC lawsuit for fraud just months before Rey's death. Was Rey about to expose something? Online, theories range from conspiracy to mental health crises. But one thing is consistent. No one believes the official story fully. The emotional weight of Rey's loss, paired with these unanswered questions, keeps viewers hooked. Picture the Belvedere that night. A grand hotel steeped in history, its lights casting long shadows over Mount Vernon. Somewhere within or above, a man's life ended in a way no one can explain. Was Rey running from something or toward something? Did he climb to that roof under his own will, or was he forced? Every detail, the hole, the phone, the note feels like a piece of a puzzle with half the pieces missing. And then there's Allison, left to grieve while fighting for answers the police stopped seeking. Her pain is palpable, a reminder of the human cost behind every mystery. Let's zoom out for a moment. Rey's death isn't just a personal tragedy. It's a mirror to how we handle unexplained cases. Why did authorities rush to label it suicide when so much screamed otherwise? Is it easier to close a file than to chase shadows? This case taps into our deepest fears, disappearing without a trace, leaving loved ones with nothing but what-ifs. It's no wonder Rey's story resonates. It could happen to anyone, and maybe that's why, years later, we're still talking about it. So, where does this leave us? The facts are sparse, the theories endless. Was Rey Rivera a victim of his own mind, overtaken by unspoken struggles? Or did he cross paths with forces he couldn't outrun? Recent articles, like those from Soap Central in 2024, list chilling possibilities: suicide, foul play, even an accident. Yet none feel definitive. The truth, whatever it is, remains buried beneath that hole in the Belvedere's roof. One thing I do know: Rey deserved better than a quick dismissal. His story demands we keep asking questions. What do you think happened to Rey Rivera? Was it suicide, murder, or something we can't even imagine? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm dying to hear your take. If this mystery has gripped you as much as it has me, hit that like button and share this video with anyone who loves a good puzzle. And don't forget to subscribe for more haunting tales of the unexplained. There's so much more out there waiting to be uncovered. Until next time, stay curious and maybe stay a little cautious. You never know what's lurking just out of sight.